Bookyard. I'm Sam.
And I'm Kai.
I feel like it's been so long since we've been here because we haven't recorded in the last little bit.
Yeah, we really haven't.
So I feel like it's been a big break, but for everyone else, it's just the next week. So welcome back to this week.
Yay! How was your week?
It's been really good. I'm trying to think of anything cool that happened to me at all. We got back from Peru, which is going to be confusing because next week in next week's episode, for all of you, I'm telling Kai about how I'm getting ready for Peru. Because we came back in time to record our Onyx Storm episode, just so we could get it out a little faster.
Yeah.
But Peru was amazing.
Love that.
So next week when you listen to episodes and I'm saying that I'm excited for Peru, it's because it was awesome. How was your week?
I'm loving that. It was really good. Me and Sam went and saw Breaking Dawn Part 1 and 2 in theaters with my roommate, and it was so fun.
That's so true. One of my favorite parts of it was that I was there for the original opening night because of my age, clearly. Yeah. Kai is a little younger.
Yeah.
She hadn't ever seen them before.
Yes.
So the experience in theater with her was so fun because it took me right back. If you've ever seen Breaking Dawn, you know what I'm talking about. But also, we'll probably talk about it a little bit because this book has some very cool parallels to Breaking Dawn.
A quick comment, though. Let's just talk about how freaking hot Robert was in this one. What was that about?
He got so much hotter in Breaking Dawn.
Oh my gosh.
It was like they forgot to put his white makeup on. And it was just like, oh, he's a person.
Oh, wait. He's actually kind of hot.
Wow. Never suspected.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. But that was my week.
I'm so glad. Okay, let's jump in.
Yes, I'm ready.
This week we're going to be talking about Onyx Storm. We're so excited for this episode.
Yes.
There will absolutely be spoilers. It's
Yes.
been like a month almost since this came out. Don't listen to this if you don't want to hear spoilers for Onyx Storm. It's the third in the Empyrean series, and we are excited to talk about it with you. We've got to talk about some theories that we've heard recently and some of our own that we've thought about. But if you haven't read it, get out.
Get out.
You can also just listen to it if you don't care about spoilers, because that's what I do.
I care a little bit more, so if I was me and I hadn't read it, I would get out.
Yeah, Kai, get out. Anyway, we're going to start off. Kai just did a reread of the first 2 books in preparation for this, so I'm going to pass this along to her and let her take us back to where we left off right before Onyx Storm.
Yes, yeah. So the very end of Iron Flame, Violet's mom dies, saving her children and giving up her power to power the Ward Stone. And Xaden turns into a Venin to also save Violet. And I'm trying to think what else is important going into it.
That's pretty much it. I mean, they uncover some weird political stuff. The general's situation is weird, and Dane's dad takes over like fun position of power afterwards, but like it's kind of like ends there, right? The main event here is that Xaden goes dark.
And Violet's like, I am going to save him.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we leave off, and that's kind of what pushes us into Onyx Storm.
Yes. I will say, Violet had some moments last book where everyone was pretty annoyed with her. I think most people were like, wow, this is pretty annoying. I just don't feel like she is acting like a very strong female lead at this point. She is constantly questioning him about these secrets, and he can't tell her because they're legitimately like political state secrets that you just can't tell people on a whim, especially when you've been dating for like a year. And not even a year at this point.
No,
but
I don't think so.
Violet in this book has a major glow up.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Personality glow up.
Absolutely. When she comes back from this whole Xaden is now turning into a Venin, it basically supercharges her character, and she's like, okay, great. None of this matters. I'm going to save him. So that's where we're coming into this book.
So refreshing, because last book it was just constantly, can I trust him? I don't know. I love him. Do I love him? And it was not that.
Right. And I think we did see quite a few people who said, I don't want to continue the series because of Violet's perspective in this book.
Yeah.
If you were one of those people, I would absolutely urge you to read Onyx Storm because you get the Violet back that you really liked in Fourth Wing.
And better almost.
Yeah.
No, not almost. Genuinely
better. She comes into herself, and I think she's coming into her power I think that's awesome.
And you see so much more of Scribe Violet, who is so cool.
Scribe Violet is so fun. We love her.
I'm obsessed with her. So you get to see her too, and that's so fun.
Yes. Okay. We wanted to talk about a few of the theories that were a little unhinged that we saw leading up to Onyx Storm. And this was both right after Iron Flame and then also just right before Onyx Storm came out.
Yeah.
We loved to listen to these theories and kind of just be like, what the hell?
That's literally crazy.
It's insane. There are some really good theories, I think, but some of the unhinged ones that we have seen that obviously up until this point haven't been proven are, one, I saw Violet's dad was the sage.
Yeah, that was so crazy because everyone's like, Violet's dad is Venin.
He's just the leader of the Venin and he's not actually teaching her how to save them.
That one was crazy.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that, genius. Her hair is silver because she's Venin. She just doesn't know it. Her eyes have never turned red. She doesn't have like an extremely like insane, powerful thing that's linked to the earth in any way, but she's definitely a Venin.
Absolutely, 100% hands down.
This book absolutely contradicts that. So way to be, buddies.
Love that. That was so smart of all of you.
My favorite theory of all, Sloane is just going to go full on power vacuum and just suck the venom straight out of everybody that she knows.
Just yank it right out.
You know, she's your dad going after like the basement with like a giant power vacuum or like the car. Like, you know, I've seen dads do that.
Yeah, that's
I don't
fair.
know. We don't have like tons of dads around. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway, those are some very fun theories that we saw. I'm pretty sure this book cleared most of those up. It's just not like super plausible. Sloane was kind of in her own world.
Yeah, she was definitely grieving a lot and feeling so insecure about her signet because Violet's mom was dead because of her.
Yes.
And Violet is constantly like, this was her choice. Like, I understand that you're frustrated, but this is what she wanted. And Sloane just still couldn't do it.
Absolutely. She does have a moment at the end where she does save someone, and that's amazing, and we love her for it. But she definitely is living in a lot of grief. Mm-hmm. And we kind of see someone that may be helping her with that a little later, but we'll go over that. Okay, so we want to get into the actual book before we go over some of the things we really want to talk about and kind of give you a brief overview of it. I wanted to ask, where does this fall in your rankings so far of this series?
My goodness, I feel like it changes a lot, but I first started and I was like, oh, I don't really know that I liked this. The further I got away from it, the more I was like, I think I loved it. And it's so hard to compare this and Fourth Wing because they're just so different. Sorry, I'm also still a little bit ill in my throat, so it sounds like I'm like choking up constantly.
I'm not making Kai cry. She has a sore throat.
I'm just so passionate about Fourth Wing. But I think that my final lineup for right now, at least, I think I like this one the most. So it goes Onyx Storm, Fourth Wing, Iron Flame for me.
Okay, I love it.
What about you?
I think I definitely still feel like Fourth Wing was very special for me. I loved Fourth Wing. I would absolutely put Onyx Storm before Iron Flame. If I could put like a blank between them, I would.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
yeah.
I would definitely do like Fourth Wing because it was very special. I think it was beautiful, great. I'm not a huge Onyx Flame fan.
Onyx Flame?
Yeah. I don't know where that came from.
That's okay.
You know, you've got 6 words to choose from. Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Onyx Storm. So Fourth Onyx, any of those books like make sense.
Yeah. And you know, I saw a lot of people hating, I'm on Threads specifically, and everyone was like, this was such a filler book. And I saw this thread that was like, that is what I'm saying. And I was like, people love to say that this is a filler book, but what if the book's title was Violet Finding the Irids and a Cure? Then that was exactly what the book was.
Right. Absolutely. And I don't think they didn't accomplish anything. Like, I think I did find that criticism very early on, and I definitely felt like when I finished, I was like, wow, they did kind of end up near the same place that they began the book.
Yeah.
However, in the middle, we get so much important information. We get a ton of people who have second signets. Yes. We get to find the 7th breed of dragons. We
more of Violet's past.
Yeah, more of Violet's past. We get her dad's history a little bit. We still haven't fully uncovered it. We get some more context for her mom's behavior.
Yes.
We get to know our secondary characters who are obviously going to be huge players.
Yeah.
And we see our main male character absolutely go off the deep end and turn into a Venin, like a full Venin, not just like an initiate.
Right. I think this book gave so much. I think that people were wanting more answers and left with more questions.
I think what people wanted was 3 books in one. I think they wanted to understand the entire universe halfway through.
Yeah.
Which isn't how that works.
And I know that people get really frustrated about how long Rebecca took to release this one, especially with the accelerated pace she did between Fourth Wing and Iron Flame. But I honestly feel like she took more time, and this book was so much better than Iron Flame that I'm like, I'll wait.
Absolutely. And we know that it will be a long wait until the next one.
Yeah.
We know that she isn't going to start working on it until at least
the end of the
August
summer.
or September.
Yeah.
So we're not going to get another January release.
Yeah, which I'm kind of devastated. But like I said, if that creates the good material that she just released, I'll do it.
I absolutely would agree. Okay, as part of our little overview of the book, we wanted to kind of just go over all the little steps, what happens. We're not going to go very detailed into it because we have a lot of important things that we really do want to talk about towards the end of this episode. At the beginning of this book, we are facing the consequences for all of the actions in Iron Flame.
Yeah, because in Iron Flame, they left and went to
Arisha. They left Bisgaeth. They went and participated as cadets, which they really weren't supposed to do. They definitely broke some school rules, but also definitely laws. And Kai and I have talked about this a lot.
Yep.
We're facing, at the beginning of this book, both political consequences and, for some reason, school consequences.
So weird. Imagine being in this huge war and being like, oh my gosh, we need more fighters. And then not using who you have, even though they're younger, and then being like, you guys gotta learn some history, take a PE class. We don't need you.
Absolutely. Well, and in the context of this series, these aren't 17 and 18-year-olds. These are all people who are in their 20s.
Yeah.
So the fact that we are still facing school consequences for the actions of cadets who are in wartime is crazy to me.
It's so weird. They're like, yeah, you have detention. And I'm
right.
like, why? What are we doing?
Buddies, I'm in my 20s. I am able to go fight for your kingdom. And in fact, I've saved your kingdom several times at this point now. And you're going to continually tell me, even throughout this book, that cadets shouldn't be at the front lines.
It's so weird. I think it's so weird.
It's definitely very odd. And they're definitely hanging on to Bisgaeth as this has got to be where everyone is, but really you're not spending a ton of time in this book at Bisgaeth at all. I was telling Kai, I'm pretty sure they were there for a total of 10 days of school?
Yeah, the school year was hella short.
And they were like, oh my gosh, I'm just missing out on so much physics because I'm saving the fucking world.
I can't believe that I'm failing my physics test. And it's why are you even doing that right now?
I'm so glad that Rhi saved all of her physics notes for you when you were on an island poisoning some royalty.
I think it's just so crazy. And they're just I miss so much school. Why in the hell are you in school?
Well, and Bodhi has this moment where he's like, I need to drop out. And I was like, well, who the hell cares?
Why are you going to school anyway? Oh my gosh. It was so weird. It was crazy. Kind of moving forward though, we have this mission/quest squad going on, which was so fun because they have these couple of goals they have to achieve. First, finding the Irids, which is Andarna's breed.
It's the 7th breed of dragons.
They're kind of secret and really cool. And the second one, securing an army, which was really weird because
they absolutely didn't talk about it at the beginning. Violet specifically was like, we have 2 goals. We're going to find the Irids and we're going to do this other thing. In the middle of the quest, they were like, yeah, we have to secure an army. And you were like, who?
What?
Who said that? And also, I'm glad you thought about that because that would have been kind of obvious, right? You need some help.
For sure. It was just weirdly placed. If it was at the beginning and they're like, well, while you're going out and looking for the 7th breed, will you also talk to these people about securing an army?
Mm-hmm.
No, it was just randomly like, oh yeah, we probably should like talk if they want to like fight with us.
Yeah, that's totally true. And then the third goal was to find a cure for Xaden. And that was Violet's, like, goal. And she'd told people that, but she obviously didn't, like, tell people that it was for Xaden because we still have a very limited group of people who know. And on this mission, we actually end up telling Riddick because Riddick finds out that Xaden has channeled and is now an initiate into, like, the Venin.
Yeah.
I was going to say culture.
He's initiated into the culture.
Into the Venin culture. He's invited, you know. He's become a part of them.
Yeah, he did the whole thing.
He read some books. He became educated. He's perfect. Anyway, Riddick finds out about it, and then Violet, in a very Violet kind of way,
Totally.
tells all of her squad. So she tells the OGs. She tells Sawyer, Rhiannon, Riddick, and...
I think she tells Jasenia as well.
Yes, Jasenia.
That's so true. Kat doesn't know.
No, because we know that in Iron Flame, Garrick and Bodhi do know. Imogen knows. So, like, the marked ones who are, like, higher up know.
Yeah.
But I don't think our first years know.
Gotcha.
Interesting, because everyone's keeping secrets from everyone.
Totally.
That's a huge part of this universe.
Which feels so weird. If you were in some massive war, why would you not, if you trusted them? Because I feel like a good amount of them have trust for one another. Why do they keep so much from each other?
I think it's genuinely, and I was going to talk about this a little later on and we can go back to it. I think it's genuinely a product of the society. And I do think there is a big commentary in this book specifically where Violet's dad is communicating to her that the world that she lives in is one that has been formulated by lies. They've erased history. They have not been honest about what's happened. And Rebecca, in her latest interview, was talking about how the Empyrean also works that way. So the Society of the Dragons. How do we know that the dragons have been honest? And that makes a lot of sense. You can't erase human history where humans have been bonded to dragons without dragon collaboration, basically.
Yeah.
Someone also had to be lying on the other side.
Yeah.
So that's obviously something we're going to go into the next book thinking about because all of these people have been lied to their entire lives. And one of Violet's very distinct character growth moments in this book, where I was very impressed with her, she was talking about how they could admit flyers to to Biscayeth, but also to the Kingdom of Navarre.
Yeah.
They could admit them in, they could open their borders, they could do this, they could do all these things. And they didn't have to choose between their own people and other people.
Yeah.
Political commentary for right now, but okay.
Yeah.
Violet is not on board with the way that Navarre has been run.
Absolutely. She's like, what in the hell?
And none of our favorite characters have been. None of them are willing to continue this cycle of like lying and dishonesty. However, I think there's still some of that going on. I think that it's definitely a learned behavior and it's really costing them a lot of effort to get out of that.
Yeah.
So eventually we're all going to be on the same page, right? But
that's the hope.
Obviously not right now.
Yeah.
That's okay.
That's okay. So yeah, that's kind of that. And then moving forward, we learn about so many second signets.
So many. They're so amazing. And we were excited about it. But very close to the beginning of this book, Xaden's talking about how people have second signets. And we find out that the marked ones, basically all of them have second signets.
Yeah.
Very cool. But obviously we were all looking forward to Violet's second signet.
Which I have to brag right now, I guessed it. Because I'm not very good at coming up with theories. But I did good this time. I'm just going to toot my own horn.
We had a conversation the day that that this book was coming out. And we were like, it could be about dreams.
Yeah.
Or it's definitely scribey. It's definitely more intelligent than lightning.
Yeah. Because
you get these two sides of Violet as well.
Right.
And they also, as we know, represent their dragons and the needs that they have in the moment and everything like that. Perfect for her. I love it. Rebecca, we just talked about this as well, said that we've only seen about 10% of this signet so far.
Which is, it's just so cool.
Which at this point, she's already communicated with someone in their dream and made them realize that she was there.
Which is so crazy. We've only seen 10% of that.
10%. So amazing. I am a little sad because in that same interview, Rebecca mentioned that there is probably one person on the continent that could help train her because it is an intrinsic ability.
I'm so excited to see.
Obviously, Xaden is the only other intrinsic that we know about.
That we know about, though.
Kind of sucks that we're like not together at this point, but that's okay. I think it's definitely needed. We need some character growth, I think, for both of them.
Well, I'm so excited to see it because when Xaden finds out that she is a Dreamwalker, he is like, holy shit. That is terrifying. So we already know that everybody's really afraid. The idea of like Xaden's signet is very like, no. Because not many people know about it, if anybody other than...
No, there are very, very few people who know that he's an intrinsic because it is against the law and it carries an immediate death penalty.
So for him who already has that to be afraid of Violet's second signet is so cool.
Absolutely. We also get Garrick, who has an amazing second signet.
Yeah.
He's a walker, is what they like refer to him as.
Yeah.
He basically transports himself and he can transport others, which is amazing. It's definitely a long distance signet. It's something that we need. He can wield basically to go wherever he wants to, which is amazing.
What did you call him earlier?
He is a high-speed truck driver because he can transport whoever he wants wherever he wants really fast.
I loved it. It was so funny. And then we see Imogen, who has like this wielding stone situation. We see like just a glimpse of it. So maybe she could be like a little earth element bender situation.
She's an earth bender from Avatar. Clearly.
So that
she
was
could
pretty
just
cool.
do stone, but that seems like a little sad. Like,
seems odd. What
if she's only doing stone? Like, I don't know, give her dirt too. It's not that hard to be like an earth bender, right?
For sure, but we see that, yeah.
But Imogen, honestly, we should probably talk about for just a second. She is a leading lady in this book.
Oh, hell yeah.
She gets her own POV.
Which broke my heart.
Absolutely. I was not expecting it. I saw Imogen and I was like, no way. I love her.
Yeah.
And then her chapter was absolutely heartbreaking. Obviously, we had to be there present with her to see what happened, but she's just a good character. And I'm so excited that we're getting all these secondary characters up to the level. Like, we are finding our tribe.
Yeah, and we'll talk more about Imogen's like first signet later, just because we know very little about her first signet.
Absolutely.
We know that she erases memories, but does she see them? Where does it go? Can she put it back? Like, where?
True.
We don't know anything
Does
about it.
she know what those memories are, or is she just like guessing? You know, like approximately, let's just give for an example, 12 hours ago, I need you to start erasing my memories up until now.
Random example, 12 hours.
Random example that doesn't happen in this book.
Just shooting out a number.
12 hours. And she just has to like hope that it starts. Can she see? Is it also like an intrinsic ability?
Right.
Very interesting. Like,
yeah.
Loving Imogen.
Yeah.
We also talked about Xaden because, not that we didn't already know his second signet, but specifically because of that interview with Rebecca Yarros where she said that we have seen about 50% of Xaden's ability for his second signet.
Which is, it just blows my mind.
That, and Violet does mention at one point during this book, Xaden tells her something and she has the distinct thought, that's not an impression.
That's literally
that
what
was
I
like
said.
a thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're obviously seeing some power growth. Specifically for Xaden, he's getting extremely powerful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Even without the Venin stuff. So afterwards, it's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. And then we have Bodhi. This is a big question mark. Because they're all having a conversation, like this secret conversation about second signets. And Violet specifically is like, well, Bodhi, what is yours? And he's like really cryptic and is like, I don't have one like Xaden.
Like, I just don't have one. Like, Xaden doesn't have one, you know?
Like, it's weirdly cryptic. And I don't know. Like, you'd think like, oh, like, I'm sure maybe he was just being like, yeah, I don't have one like Xaden. But no, it was weird.
But we're specifically told that most of these marked ones have a second signet. So we're expecting Bodhi to have another signet, which obviously is going to be in the next book.
Right, including Liam. Liam also had a second signet.
Yes, which, amazing.
Love that.
Love Liam. Shout out to Liam. We love you.
Also, shout out to Rebecca for lying to us and being like, no, that was weird. That was a typo.
That was so crazy. Get out of here, girl.
Yeah.
Then also we find Aaric's signet, right? Because Aaric hasn't wielded yet at the beginning of this book.
And he's still telling people he hasn't.
Yeah, he's still telling people he doesn't know, but we find out that he is a precog, so he can see the future And not in the way that General Melgren can, where he only sees the outcomes of battles, which seems like such a crazy signet to me.
So weird.
The gods in the Empyrean were just like, and we'll give you like a half gift here. Like, you can see the future only on a Wednesday at 3 p.m.
And only when certain people aren't there.
Absolutely.
It's the weirdest signet.
So Aaric, who's already one of our favorite people,
He's so hot.
we love him, gets this incredible signet and honestly saves the day like multiple times.
He saves all of their asses.
And again,
so
he doesn't tell anybody that he can do this.
But it also feels weird because so many times he's like, no, I have to do this, or no, you have to do this. And everyone's just like, that was kind of weird. And I'm like, why are you not thinking more about that?
No, there's this scene where he's like, Violet, you have to save the Temple of Dun. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you're a first year. And you're like, no, bitch, you don't pull that with Aaric.
And then he gives her this like little bag with something in it. And she doesn't look to see what it is like way later. Like,
until like in the middle of the battle. She's about to die.
And she's like, oh yeah, what did Aaric give me? And I'm like, you are so stupid.
And she has the distinct thought, why did he give me this stone?
I can't. She's so stupid sometimes.
And you're just like, honey, listen to Aaric. He's literally never led you wrong. He showed up to Squad Quest, obviously. Quest Squad.
Quest Squad.
I said Squad Quest.
I like that.
That's fine.
I mean, the squad is going on a quest.
That's where I was coming from, you know?
Yeah, totally.
Anyway, Aaric forces himself on here by revealing the secret that he hasn't revealed in the last book.
Yeah.
That he is the prince.
Hot.
Amazing. He's Cam. And he's like, I'm going on this because Halden obviously is going to just like absolutely ruin it.
Yeah.
And then we find out he's fluent in literally every language. And he
so
is
hot too.
a precog. And he's just a rock star. If Imogen had her like rock star glow up, Aaric did that times 2.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing that is heartbreaking about Aaric being a precog is at one point he says, I'm most likely going to die in this battle. Or like in this war. And then you're just like, oh my gosh, you know that you're gonna die.
I'm just hoping he was wrong, you know? I know. I love to live in denial.
Denial is a river. You know that song?
And I'm swimming in it right now.
I get it.
Anyway, after this whole quest, they go back to school again for some reason. We don't know why we're still at school, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. It's their home. And then after approximately 2 seconds at school, they go back to Arisha.
Yeah.
And Xaden is obviously just in complete denial that he's just emo Xaden right now, right?
Yeah.
So Violet likes to call it brooding. I like to call it Edward moment, obviously coming back to the Twilight series. He's having his right before new moon where he leaves Bella, where he's just like, I'm a monster.
You're better off without me.
You should run far away. But I'm definitely still gonna like definitely mess you up. I'm gonna kiss you and yeah, all the fun stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But he's having an Edward moment at this point.
Yeah.
And Violet, to the point where Violet shows up to their house and is like, I don't have a room here. And Bodhi's like, dude, you live here. You live in the same room.
I don't know where to go.
She's like, I just was never assigned a room. And he's like, quit effing around. I am done with you.
Just go in your fucking room.
Go to the room.
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
So anyway, after they're there for a while, they get to have some fun moments. Obviously, some very fun, sexy time.
Yeah.
Then Dreyfus happens. And we've seen this come about several times because Xaden is dreaming about Dreyfus.
Which is so weird that he keeps dreaming about things that are going to happen. But is it his Venin thing? Is that where it comes from?
Well, I think they were at Dreyfus before. The sage is communicating with him too. So he has these like repeated dreams. And throughout the book, Violet is having the same dreams because as we find out, she is a dream walker. Mm-hmm. So we end up having to go back to Dreyfus, which at some point, someone in this book should have said, I'm having repeated dreams about this place and I'm feeling like it's going to go down and it's not going to go well for us.
Another weird communication thing, or people just being stupid and being like, I don't think it's that important.
Like, obviously they still would have had to go. And I'm sure they realized it inside where they were like, oh no, this is where stuff is going to go down.
Yeah.
But it could have been cool to say that out loud. You know, like,
for sure.
Hey guys, we're having repeated dreams about it. And like, I know like there's going to be a sage there. It's going to be crazy. Berwyn's probably going to be there. Yeah. It's just going to be a lot.
Yeah.
But anyway, they have a giant battle, and shit goes down, as always.
Yeah. I am really proud of Violet, though, because she finally made a decision and was like, no, this is what we're doing, and I'm going to trust my team to do their part.
Yes.
Instead of trying to do it all.
She absolutely stuck to it. And literally every person in this last, like, part of the book was like, Violet, you keep trying to save everyone, you're going to get us killed. Just do one job.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. She does it. She's amazing. She really does.
I'm so proud of her for that.
Genuinely, I love Violet as an FMC.
Yeah, she did so amazing this book. She really redeemed after last book.
Mm-hmm. But we get to the end of the book. We're getting to the end of this little last recap part. We get to the end of the book. Theophany is there. Obviously, this Venin, we assume she's a maven throughout the book who is trying to lure Violet to her.
Yeah.
Theophany's there. Berwyn's there trying to get a hold of Xaden. It's like they're these competing like factions. They definitely want like their own people to train, and it's totally fine. They're both there. It's not totally fine. I don't know why I said that.
It's totally cool.
Clearly not cool. It's a terrible battle. Lots of people are just like getting absolutely just straight up murdered. That's totally fine.
Once again, not totally fine.
Not totally fine. We lose some really important people, and by really important people, I mean Quinn specifically, because I really had a soft spot for Quinn. We didn't see her a ton in this book, but we did get a few moments where she was like very supportive of Violet, and we end up losing her. Right? She gets killed, and we see that from Imogen's perspective, which is so much worse than seeing it from anyone else's perspective because they are best friends.
Heartbreak. I cried, and I liked Quinn, but like not that much.
No, I definitely cried. It was nuts. I'm trying to think of all the other people we lose. No one. So after Quinn, she's one of our only like, main secondary characters that we lose at this point.
Yeah.
But we also get to the very end, and obviously Xaden has a moment and has to save Sigale. And she specifically says, like, don't do this to save me. And he still does, because that's who he is as a person. Like, it's foundational to who he is. He has very few people that he loves and would give his life for.
Right. Well, and Sigale, we see, is more of a mother figure to him than, like, a fun partner or friend. Like, she is his mom.
Yeah. Well, and they definitely talk a lot about how everyone has different relationships with their dragon.
Yeah. Can we talk about how Riddick and Adram literally prank each other?
They are little best buddies, and I love them.
They're in the middle of the war, and Riddick's like, I'm gonna put itch powder on him.
Just another reason we love them.
Yeah, sorry, I just had to add that in. Okay, keep going.
But yeah, I mean, we see this distinct relationship with Sigale and Xaden, and he has this moment, and he basically obviously saves the day because he becomes Venin again and wipes out all of these, like, Venin and Wyvern and everyone who is attacking the people that are around them. So he wipes them all out in this insane show of power.
Oh my gosh, it was so crazy.
But fully transitioning to Venin. Right. So we lose him at that point for a bit. Right? Because we know he's transitioned. And then there's this moment that everyone's been talking about at the end of the book where Xaden says that he has a new brother.
And to kind of give more context to that, all of the Venin are brothers or sisters. Like, his, quote, brother is Jack Barlow, who is also a Venin. That's what Jack refers to him as. So that's what this kind of brother idea is that somebody close to him has turned into a Venin and now is his new brother.
Yes. So we know that they have this whole, like, brother structure and everything, but I wanted to read this part here. So Berwyn is obviously talking to Xaden, and his brother is, like, standing there. He just refers to him as the new brother. So there's this big, like, who is this person? He says, Xaden, this is from Xaden's perspective. He says, I glanced past Berwyn, past Sigale and the Venin to my new brother and the unconscious dragon lying in the valley beyond the canyon, guarded by 7 wyvern. How could he do this? Choose this after watching me stumble and fall over the last 5 months. How could he willingly walk the path I've fought like hell to leave? He is the last person I ever would have expected to turn, and yet here we are. That obviously has left everyone with some major theories.
Yeah.
And now that we're kind of done that recap, I think this is one of the things that we did really want to talk about. Is this theory about who is this person who turned Venin with Xaden.
Right.
We also learned that Panchek has been a traitor this whole time, and you're like, surprise, surprise, we didn't really care about him.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, meh.
Okay, good job, buddy.
We knew there was a traitor. I wish it would have been somebody cooler, but at the same time, like, meh.
Yeah, I think that's kind of how traitors are sometimes, though. They're kind of just the people who you're like, yeah, well, we didn't really like you that much anyway.
Yeah, cue JoJo Siwa singing Traitor in her Tesla.
You're just a traitor. Oh my god. Yeah, so big old traitor. Anyway, Rebecca has come out specifically because obviously there were a lot of questions about this after the release of the book.
Mm-hmm.
She has come out specifically and said that she wants us to consider one who was not there.
Yeah.
With everybody else, right?
Yeah.
And two, who saw him during those 5 months struggle, which basically leaves us with two contestants.
Yeah.
Right.
And people, I think that sometimes like to be like, well, maybe Brennan. But Brennan was there. And I know that for a second people thought about Dane. And they also thought about Riddick.
People love to say that Brennan is going to just go straight up
evil, maybe?
Evil immediately. They're like, honestly, Brennan could be like, yeah, I saw this the other day. And people are going to be like, oh my gosh, he's an idiot. He's evil.
Yeah, I really, we see so little of him that I can't form an opinion.
I'm like, okay, well, cool. If he does, I'm cool with that, I guess. But I also don't know where you're finding this. That's fine.
Yeah.
But anyway, that leads us to the new brother theory. That it either has to be Garrick or Bodhi.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you lean specifically towards Garrick.
I do, yeah.
Take us through that.
So with Garrick, we see that he comes to save Imogen because Quinn dies the whole thing. And before this, he was just absolutely desperate. He had been walking everybody here, there, everywhere, doing the whole thing, being a bougie bus driver. And he is absolutely dead. Like, has no power, and he's like, well, I guess I'm gonna go do the only thing I can do, and just kind of stalks away. Like, it's super ominous. And then we see that the tiles, like the ground around him, are losing color, which is something that Venin do when they're sucking energy out of the ground. And so it's kind of like, that was the only really thing that got me with Garrick.
Right.
But
he does definitely explain that away, like in the next, like, probably paragraph. He's like, hey, there are literally, like, I think it was 7 or 12 Venin who are draining the walls of the castle. And Imogen's like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's
so it was kind of like a little thing where, like, could be played off or, like, it could be nothing, but kind of fun. And personally, I think I would just rather it be Garrick because he's such an awesome character that he could, like, go over. I don't really know Bodhi that well, you know?
Yeah. I do think one of the other things that I saw in favor of it being Garrick was that he is also the only one of the missing riders at the end of the book that is mentioned by name. So we know he's missing.
Yeah, with Bodhi, we don't know for sure. They didn't say, like, Bodhi's missing, but they talked about Garrick specifically.
Right. I personally lean toward it being Bodhi, but again, I don't care.
Sam is big about I don't give a shit about theories. And it's really nice because it balances me out because I think it's really fun with the theories. But Sam's just like, we'll find out. I don't really care.
One of my favorite parts of reading series is that I absolutely love to be surprised, you know?
Yeah.
No matter where this takes me, I really just don't have like a huge preference on who it is. I do feel like I like Garrick more. I think that Bodhi is more of a sympathetic character to me. And I think that Garrick is so incredibly gifted with his signet. It would be a huge asset to either side, right? Whoever has him. And I definitely feel like they need that on their side right now.
Yeah.
But the Bodhi theories basically are, one, he's always been with Xaden. He's constantly with Xaden. He is also next in line to the throne at this point, right? So throughout the book, and we don't see a lot of Bodhi at the beginning of this book. Yeah. But we definitely get like a very cool introduction near, like, I would say probably 3/4 of the way through the book. Bodhi starts popping up a lot more. He is constantly telling Xaden, and they're clashing at this point. Like, you're an asshole. Like, stop. Because Xaden's in his brooding moment, in his Edward Cullen moment.
Yeah.
And he just keeps reminding Bodhi, like, you're next in line. So Bodhi really doesn't want the throne. He doesn't want to be the Duke.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that Xaden really lets him have a choice a lot of the time. And that's kind of how it is when you're royalty, right? You really don't get a choice.
Mm-hmm.
But they're constantly clashing. And several times throughout the last 3/4 of the book, Bodhi is telling Xaden, I'm not your backup plan. I'm not your backup plan. You are the Duke. I'm the rider. That's how it was always meant to be until our parents got themselves executed. I will stand by your side and be your right fucking hand for the rest of our lives. But if you want a member of our family to hold that seat, he points to the throne, you better hold your own shit together. He walks out of the room without another word.
So I see Bodhi as a very strong contender for this spot. But again, I really am one of those people who genuinely is not super invested in the theories right now. I think they're so fun. And I know that you, Kai, specifically love to analyze who it's going to be. Honestly, part of it for me is just that I think it's so fun. I think the reveal's so fun. I love looking at it afterwards. I think it's awesome. Okay, I am just going to say Kai had to run out. She had to go to an appointment that she had. We completely lost track of time with this one. So I just wanted to end this episode with a few things that we really wanted to talk about. There was one specific theory that we loved that we saw on TikTok by Sarah Kane Reads. She's awesome. She kind of developed this theory, and honestly, it could have come from somewhere else, but she specifically was the video that I saw, and I loved it. She was talking about how the whole world basically seems to revolve around this theory of the 7 gods, the 7 dragons, and the 7 riders. So in this theory of hers, she was talking about how the distinct gods have obviously they're gods over something, right? So like Gideon is the god of wisdom. Anyway, they are associated with a different color, and we get to see this a lot in Onyx Storm because of the robes that their people wear on the islands, right? There are also 7 distinct kinds of dragons that we know of. And then we're seeing these things come together, and her theory is kind of that there are also these 7 riders that end up kind of being paired with the gods, right? Really kind of representing them in this fight between good and evil, which I think is a really cool theory. And I honestly think it would be very cool of Rebecca to have thought of that. So really do love that. If you liked that theory and want to hear it said so much better and explained so much better than I just did, please go ahead and check out Sarah Kane Reads on TikTok. She's awesome. She reads a lot, and we love that here. Overall, we both really liked this book. I think it was well worth the read, and I think that she fits so much into a medium-sized book. I didn't think it needed to be 1,000 pages, and I thought that there was too much in it for 300 pages. So I think she did perfect. I am excited to read the 4th book, and we are going to be patiently waiting along with everyone else. So come back then, and come back every week, because we want you here even when we're not talking about Fourth Wing. The only other thing I want to leave you with today is that if you are enjoying listening to this podcast, I know there aren't very many of you, but if you are enjoying it and are listening frequently, I would ask that you go show our socials some love and possibly even share this with your family and friends. We are doing this as a hobby, and it's been so fun, but it's absolutely a time commitment for us, and we would love to have more people along with us on this fun journey. Also, while I have you here, I want to remind you that we are not using ads on our podcast as of right now, but I do want to take a minute to plug some of our favorite places. First, go ahead and check out Poppy Books and Gifts in Spanish Fork. If you are located in or around Utah County, it's absolutely worth the effort to go check out. It's an amazing place, and their employees are absolutely wonderful. I have never been led astray with a recommendation from them. Please go check them out. Again, this is not an ad. I just think they really deserve all of the attention they get. So thank you, Poppy, for everything you do for us. We love you. Also, because Kai's not here to tell me that I can't, I want to say thank you to Cheez-Its, because every day at work, we eat Cheez-Its, and we love them, and they power our podcast, even though this isn't sponsored. So we love you, Cheez-Its. Thank you. Now that that's out of the way, I wanted to let you know, next week we are going to be talking about All the Colors of the Dark. It is an amazing book. We both absolutely loved it. If you like mystery, thriller, a little bit of romance, and just really, really good characters, you are absolutely in for a treat with this one. Go ahead and read it ahead of time, or come back and spoil it with us first.
If you liked today's episode, you are in luck. We post every week on Monday. And if you need your fix throughout the week, you can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at the Bookyard Pod.
Have a good week.
Bye.